Okay. So I want to kind of break up today into a couple of things. As you see, I brought a lot of stuff because we're going to be doing a lot of myth, we're going to be doing archetypes, we're going to be doing story, and we have to understand these aspects of ourself. And so many of you are asking about Santeria and all of that, and I'll give you some explanation of why people are attracted to that kind of stuff. And throughout, obviously, the days that we teach, I'll bring stuff in. So I kind of wanted to bring that stuff in so we have. And then I want to break down to answer your questions. Later, I want to do a little bit with shame. So I brought the tissues. So first, let me just tell you what happened with my health. So my cancer's back. I have to get a PET scan in the next couple days, and I will be getting a double mastectomy and chemo radiation in the works. So as I know dates and stuff like that, I'll let you guys know. I will be here as much as possible. If there's one thing in my life that gives me life, it's teaching. So just so as I know stuff, I'll update you guys. So it got me thinking about shame. And so I mentioned this, Debbie Ford, before, and I found the page where I said to you, if you hate animals, don't open, an animal shelter. Okay. So a lot of that is a way to counteract shame about what we are. And so I had to really look, and I have been these past 7 months because of everything that's been happening in my life. I've had to really, really look at shame and go deeper and deeper and deeper, what I call the 7 gates, to get really to like the seed of what I think about myself. So I want to save some time. I want to address this, and I think it's perfect questions that you asked, especially since I brought all this stuff. So I want to give a general explanation. And then I'd like to do this activity on shame and talk a little bit about that. So we'll just be attention to the time so that we can get both in.
My mom is calling me.
Sure. Okay, so first let's start from the beginning of time. Before things are written, before, there's perhaps common languages, people would sort of sit around. And the elders, people were like in tribes, or they were, storytellers. I have this one little, I'm taking that to my new apartment. It's a little Indian guy. He had all these little kids all around him, and it's called The Storyteller. And I bought that in, I think it was Arizona, with these little guys. I'll bring it so you guys can see it, but because I consider myself a storyteller. And just always these little Indians all around the chief. And that's really what it was. It was like this one elder, this one chief, that would sit, both adults and children, around, the campfire, let's say, to explain who they were. And I think that one of the reasons that I say that we're like in this spiritual holocaust is that even though we're in 2018, people do not know who the hell they are. They do not understand. We still need a tribal leader, so we think, to explain what the fuck is happening. And this is why I feel that that's sort of going awry, because if you get with the wrong teacher, if you get with your wrong tribal leader, and they lead you astray, that can really do damage. And I think that there's a lot of irresponsibility going on, especially in the spiritual sort of movement that we have going on. So what would happen? People would sit. I just want to give you sort of like a visual. I'm sure in all cultures it was done in their own way. But just imagine, this like sort of tribal leader sitting around with all these people. And the responsibility of this elder was to explain you to you. That's a tough job.
Yeah, it is.
Okay? What is the best way to explain someone to someone? Story. That is why we are attracted to stories. This is why movies, this is why the entertainment industry is as big as it is. What was that?
It's all about that.
It's all about a story, and there is a story sort of type in order, and that's another class, and so what happened were all of these mythologies that then went into religions, it then became your family, then became you, and I'll go through the steps and answer your Santeria question, and the characters, is first and foremost to explain you to yourself. Bless you. So, and what are these characters? Archetypes. So this comes back up to here. So we'll go down that. And Santeria, being a mythology / religion, has characters that are archetypes, some represented on this table, and why someone told you were Chango, or Yemaya, or Watala, or Elewa, and all of that. Okay? And in every single mythology, all of these characters exist. So why create these stories? Why create the characters? How else do I explain to you that you have a warrior inside of you or a strategist inside of you? This is Athena from Greek. In her story, she is born from her father's head. No mother. She is logic, she is strategy. We all have that strategist. We all have a warrior archetype. Here we have Buddha. All of us have this good or saintly or passive peacemaker aspect. So how else were these elders or storytellers going to explain all of the different parts of you without telling you, well, you're schizophrenic and there's 100 parts of you that all live in this one body? For some reason, it's very easy to understand that you have kidneys that have a function, liver that has a function, a pancreas that has a function, your ears, your eyes, your mouth, and nose. But when it comes to the psyche, for some reason, we want to believe that we are one unified being. And we are not. That is a lie. There's a wonderful philosopher called Gurdjieff, and I always mess up the spelling of his name. He was an Armenian mystic, and he draws it in a very simple way. This is you. And these are eyes. So these are the hundreds and hundreds of eyes, I for ego, I, that live inside of you. In one little diagram, I think that sums it up. I find that to be very meaningful. So these storytellers would sit you around and they would tell you stories. So one of my favorite, this is my guy, okay? This is Hanuman. This is from the Hindu tradition. Hanuman is loyal, okay? And he is loyal to the king and the queen, so to speak, their version of king and queen, Rama and Sita. And he has to do with mental power. And he expands and he contracts depending on what he has to do. Okay, so I really like Hanuman. He's like my guy. So if I'm sitting in this campfire and someone talks about Hanuman, I'm going to be like, I'm going to relate. And I'm going to be like, yes, that's my guy. So I go to the store and I buy myself a Hanuman and bam, I put it on an altar. And all of a sudden, I'm Hanuman. And this happened to me. I was in India, loved Hanuman, and I go to get an astrology reading. And the little Indian guy was like this high. He goes, you, Hanuman power. Hanuman power. I'm like, oh my God, how did he know? Like, okay. So Hanuman was like my guy from myth, from all of the characters, that's one that I really, really resonate with. Every single one of us has a seeker, has a trickster, has a mother, has a peacemaker, has a lover, has a fool. We all have all of these different archetypes. These are these eyes. Every single one of us. However, we have them in different proportions and we resonate with them in different ways. So the storytellers of yonder, and I told you this before, this comes from all of the astrology, this comes from all of the constellations of the stars, okay? All of those storytellers said, how do we explain you and you and you and you and you to yourself? And so they created these stories. That's why we have mythology. So Greek mythology, Hindu mythology, all of the different mythologies. And the Yoruba tradition, which is a mythology, is simply that. The characters are Chango, Yemaya, Obabala. These are the names of that mythology. Then they tell you that it's a religion. Because what is the function of religion? And this is the difference between a myth and a story and religion. What is the function of religion? Why do you need religion if you have mythology?
It's to explain belief, to support
to groups of people, right?
What was that?
Like, to groups of people.
Okay, so the purpose here, you have a mythology. No matter where you were born in the world, there is a mythology.
And religion explain it differently.
Okay, a religion creates a dependence. A religion creates a fear. It controls groups. So it took the story and it created a faith-based system around the mythology. This is what fucks people up.
Yep.
And there you go. Speak no evil about the holy religion. Boom!
No, I don't think any of them like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, you're not supposed to see, you're not supposed to hear.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't talk about that.
Don't talk about this. Okay? So it's not that religion is bad. Religion is not bad. Religion has a purpose. But we have to go to the origin. If you know my favorite word, it's origin story. If you want to understand you need to go to the origin. So, let's take you back to the storyteller sitting around the campfire with all the adults and all the kids. Where do you think they got their stories?
It's passed down from generation.
They're the first ones.
From absurd.
First one ever.
First one.
First people ever sitting down there saying we got a bunch of screwed up people who don't understand themselves.
It's just their theory and their imagination at work.
No new stories. Where did they get that information?
From nature?
Okay, nature could be where? Well, what part of nature? You're onto something. Where in nature? Okay, animals is part of the answer.
Like the floor, the ground, the mud, everything.
Keep higher. Keep looking higher.
The sun.
Trees.
Keep higher.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
the stars.
Oh yeah.
Look up.
The universe, the galaxy.
You want to know? Go to the origin. We go top to bottom. My favorite symbol, and you see this every time I teach. Why do I do this? Spirit, matter. Heavens, what I mean is cosmos, earth. And what's this? This is my symbol I draw for everything. Why? Because we start cosmos and we live on the earth. If any part of this is missing from your equation, you're missing a big piece of your life. You're missing a big piece of things. And a lot of people don't start from the top. All mythologies come from the heavens or the cosmos. That's the planets. The planetary and the constellation configurations, I was thinking that after I get my double mastectomy, I'm going to have like the cosmos tattooed on my chest.
I thought.
I have a big constellation wall in my kitchen. Did I ever show you it?
No.
I'll show you a picture.
I think I'm gonna get a tattoo. I'm gonna get all the planets in my spinal cord.
Oh, okay, so then you're connecting to your chakras and your planets. Because every chakra has planets. So that you're connecting to that divine intelligence. But I was thinking about that yesterday. What could I do to kind of cover up? Because I'm not going to get reconstruction. So,
Nice.
every single leader, elder with the kids and the people, we're saying, okay, our job is to teach you about yourself so that we can have a community with rules and laws and explanations. And when you go and your daughter gets raped, or you go out and you kill an animal, or you go here and you do something that you're not supposed to, there has to be an explanation. And hence, every single constellation has an archetype. So the Leo is the sun, is the narcissist in us. The Cancer is the mother in us. The twins, Gemini, the duality in us. Aries, the warrior, the Chango in us. Neptune, the Yemaya in us. Pluto is the part of us that's destructive and regenerative, the Jesus in us. We die, we're reborn. So, it all came from those constellations. That's where we got the archetypes. So now the elders have a structure for their story. And they can tell you, there's a son in you, there's a mother in you, there's duality in you, there's a trickster in you, all of these archetypes. And now people are like, oh, okay, I'm not good, I'm not bad. I am just all of these things that make me up. Psychologically, just like a pancreas and a liver and eyes and ears. So why should I not have psychological organs the way, which are planets, another way to put it, the way I have physical organs? Why? If we are mind, body, spirit, and here we have spirit, the body, living on earth, why should we not have an explanation of our psychological organs the way we do of our anatomy books and our physical organs?
Because the mind is complex and you can't just say one
Measure.
thing about
It's
it.
pretty much you
But guess what? I got a recurrence of breast cancer. And I have to go and get a PET scan to see if those cells migrated to another part. So is the body just, oh, let me take out my heart? No. You go to critical care, and they have to take care of, okay, I have to give you this medicine to make sure that your blood pressure doesn't drop too low, because this part, because the liver function, it's the same thing. What makes it supposedly, Paula, so difficult?
Because you cannot see it.
Because you can't fucking see it.
That, see, I really think pretty much that.
And that's it. You can touch the organ. You can touch your skin. You can feel a mass. But since you can't see your demons, your Jesus, your Chang'o, your warrior, your Buddha, your duality, other people can see it, but you have difficulty, we say, oh my God, the mind is so difficult.
I believe that you can see it.
But pretty much, if we had an organizational system, a theory, that's why I tell you, theory to practice. You pick your theory. This is my theory. If you have an organizational system, now you can explain to people what the hell is going on. You think that when the doctor is talking to me yesterday about the thing, and if it migrates, and the lymph node, I'm like, what the fuck?
You're not listening to him.
I'm like, I don't know anything about the anatomy. I don't know anything about the physical fucking body.
You're not listening to this.
I know psychology. I know the mind.
You're only listening to
The
what you
main
have.
thing
That's it.
is
So it's the same sort of thing. She has studied an organizational system of what you do when somebody has recurring breast cancer. We are studying what to do when somebody has an illness in their psychological organ. An illness or a conflict. Because what it is that they're fighting. They're fighting. All these cancer cells are is that they're getting bigger and they're getting bigger and they're fighting. My body is at war with itself. Everybody in humanity is at war with themselves. It's called the mind. So when we have an understanding and an organizational structure of the psychological organs, all of a sudden, human behavior starts to make sense. So it started all the way with the 12 constellations. I don't care if you look at the Greek, I don't care if you look at the Hindu, I don't care if you look at the Mayan. It doesn't matter. They all say the same thing. They all realized that the aspects of the mind were the same aspects of the mind. So, this is where we get our story. Then religion comes in. Religion took that mythology, that story, and had to gather a society to give it rules, to take power. Someone had to be in control, because over here, no one's really in control. This is just what it is. And now we need a faith-based system. We need to give you something beyond to believe in. We can't say it's the stars. We have to go beyond, okay? And it has its positives. This is not an anti-religion class. It's, I told you, equal opportunity employer. But we start learning to control. Money becomes an issue.
Yeah, like they get.
Because of course you need money to run the churches and pay the big people and buy the Bentleys. Okay, but previously it was a way of controlling and having dependence and having just mass control. Not in a bad way. Organizing societies. Who knows what the Hammurabi Code is? The Hammurabi Code, and I'm sure I spelled that wrong, was the first code, sort of how to live. If you steal, you get your hand chopped off. If you do this, you do that.
Yeah.
Rules. Because what do we know about the heavens and the cosmos? Do we believe this universe is organized?
No.
Most people say it's chaos. So if we come from chaos, Stephen Stephen Hawking and myself would differ. If we come from chaos, we do, but it has to be an explanation there. Then the only way, because another word for this is chaos, another word for matter is rules or structure. And lo and behold, I'm just going to use Greek mythology here for a moment, Uranus is chaos, and Saturn is rules and structure. Uranus is the heavens, and Saturn is the earth. And didn't I just say heaven and earth? So, you see how all of it is making sense? If we come from this chaos, and it trickles down that we need rules and structure, we needed religion or societies that would give some rules and structure. So religion and other rules had a purpose. Okay? All they did was steal the same story from the heavens, put a different costume, put a different name, put a different ethnicity, put it in a different place in the world, slap some tide responsibility, and voila! Religion was created. And this has fucked us up for the last 2,000 years. Okay? This is when we entered something called the age of Pisces. We are now in the age of Aquarius, where we are breaking down the walls. That's the planet that rules Aquarius. And we have social media, and you have friends all over the world, and we can fly to wherever, and we can do whatever, and people are working remotely, and I can teach here, and someone can see it in Thailand. Because we're entering the space where this age of Pisces has sort of been starting to crumble. But that leaves people in a very, very uncomfortable state. Who's going to tell me what to do? Who's going to give me the rules? Who's going to control me? Who's going to tell me what's right and wrong? And oh, fuck. If someone isn't telling me, who the hell am I? What am I doing here? And oh, fuck. And that's why I am afraid of this spiritual holocaust, because there are still people that want to control the mind, that know all of this information, because they're very, very bright, and they feed it to you in a certain way by telling you you're Yamaya, and you're Awakala, and you're Chango, and do this, and we'll get to that specific in a second. And then all of a sudden, I don't want power. Oh my God. I don't want power. Yes.
Because I remember, like, the lady that told me that I was young, she told me that every time I went to the beach or whatever, where it's water, I had to ask for permission. Guess what? I never did it, and here I am. That was after I had the drowning.
Exactly.
That was after I had a drowning problem. Okay?
Because
I never did it, and here I am.
there is no man on a chair with a sword striking you down if you don't do it. But religion told you there was. So if that man is up there with that lightning rod, Zeus, Greek mythology, you'll behave. You'll be moral.
Oh, you gotta
You're gonna be good, or you're gonna be real bad. Yay! I'm gonna go somewhere I now have control. I'm gonna go to heaven, or I'm gonna go to hell. And all we fucking want to know is, where do I go? Do I go to that line, or do I go to this line? That's all we want to know. Whichever one. No, just tell me where to go. You and you and you and me and everybody wants to be told where to go. So religion said, fuck, this is the best scam ever. Everybody wants to know where to fucking go. Let's tell them, bitches. And take their money.